I am proud to announce that starting today, our company is now Meta.
In October 2021, Mark Zuckerberg made an unexpected announcement that will certainly go down in the history of humankind. His message was so significant and symbolic that I am sure future generations will read about it in history books and look back to it as the start of a new era of technological development and progress for the human race. In case you don't know what I am talking about yet, Mark Zuckerberg, one of the biggest names in the tech industry and considered by many as the king of the internet, announced that Facebook Incorporated was going to change its name to Meta Platforms Incorporated. On the surface, this may seem like a rushed PR move to save face from the current public backlash Facebook is facing. But for those in the know, his announcement marked the start of a new era for technology. Now, if you are like most people, you probably have never heard about the Metaverse before and have no idea about its capabilities. And if that's the case, stay tuned, because that's exactly what you are about to discover. You are watching Metaverse, the new future of our world. And in this video, I'm going to show you what is the Metaverse, what you can expect from it, and also why those in the know say it will change the world as we know it. But before we begin, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you like this type of content, also hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And without further ado, let's get right to it. Now, despite recently being in the spotlight of the press and being talked about everywhere on the internet, most people still don't know what is the Metaverse. Even Mark Zuckerberg, the man who brought this term to the mainstream, admits that defining it is extremely hard, and the best way to understand the Metaverse would be to experience it firsthand. Well, this term was coined in a science fiction novel from the 90s, and it is based on the idea that we can get together in the same time and space, even if we are far away from each other in the physical realm. But for the sake of simplicity, we can think of the Metaverse as an immersive 3D virtual reality experience, where users from all over the world will be able to get together on the same virtual space by using avatars. Similar to how role-playing games like The Sims and Habbo Hotel used to work, but you would be interacting with real people in a completely immersive and hyper-realistic realm. Needless to say, this would take human cooperation and creativity to levels that we can't even fathom today, and it would, without a shadow of a doubt, change our lives. So much so that Greg Donato, Roblox chief business officer and one of the people in the forefront of this tech revolution, is certain that the Metaverse will do for social connections what the internet did for the spread of information. And he is not the only one to say that the Metaverse will change our lives as we know it. Tim Sweeney, Epic Games CEO, is saying that the Metaverse will disrupt everything we know of today, including the economy, social interactions, and how society organizes itself, and thus change the human race completely. And according to him, it even has the potential to bring down big tech companies that today look like they are too big to fail, such as Google or Facebook, if they don't adapt to what's coming. Now, the first and most obvious thing that is going to change when the Metaverse becomes a reality is how games are developed and how gamers will interact with each other, thus making the overall gaming experience completely immersive, even more than it is today. In fact, some famous games are already creating their own metaverses and virtual ecosystems. The most notable one being Roblox, an open-world RPG where players have complete creative freedom to cooperate and change the environment around them. For instance, Roblox, in partnership with Nike, just launched a virtual ecosystem called NikeLand, which is a metaverse inspired by Nike's products and brand, and it is full of proprietary games and digital showrooms for users to interact in real time. Of course, this Nike's metaverse is still in its infancy and is far from being a full-on virtual reality experience. But if anything, it shows that we could be closer to a realistic metaverse than we may be thinking. And it's not only online games that will be greatly impacted by the coming metaverse, because all other activities that need cooperation and teamwork will also benefit from it. Things like office work, which could now become completely remote and allow people to interact with their workmates using holograms. And even live events such as sports or concerts, where you could use a hologram to watch the show from the first row, even while you are in the comfort of your own home. Now, Mark Zuckerberg's Meta Platforms Inc. is the first company that comes to mind when we think of the Metaverse. After all, they are the company that recently brought this new technology to the mainstream. But what's interesting is that Mark Zuckerberg has been anticipating the growth of the metaverse at least since 2014 when he bought Oculus VR, a company focused on making gadgets for virtual reality users, as a way to jump into the VR industry with both feet. However, other big and established tech companies are also jumping on this bandwagon, and the competition in the coming years is going to be fierce. For instance, Microsoft already started to develop key software for the future metaverse, such as the Microsoft Mesh. Microsoft Mesh will use features of the Microsoft Teams app and build a wide array of metaverse features on top of it, such as holographic experiences and virtual collaborative spaces. What's more, Amazon, with its gigantic cloud computing service called AWS, is also set to be a key player in the coming metaverse, helping companies access the infrastructure necessary to create and run their own metaverses. The coming metaverse is also a breeding ground for startup companies looking to snatch up some opportunities and shape the future of the internet. At this moment, the most promising one is OpenSea, which is today the largest NFT marketplace in the world, allowing people to buy and sell unique digital items using cryptocurrencies. OpenSea will help people buy verified online goods inside the metaverse, thus being a central component of its economy. Well, as you can probably tell already, the world will be forever changed as soon as this novel and breakthrough technology becomes mainstream. For instance, as some metaverse enthusiasts have said, digital commerce will go through a massive growth spurt, with people creating, buying, and treating digital goods and assets as if they were in fact real. What's more, the metaverse may also be the thing that makes cryptocurrencies widely used and accepted. After all, they will be necessary to integrate and facilitate most of the e-commerce aspects of the metaverse. And if everybody has to use cryptocurrencies at some point in order to be part of the metaverse, it is just a matter of time before they also become mainstream. In fact, some companies are already positioned to ride this wave of cryptocurrencies growth that the metaverse will create. The most notable one being, once again, OpenSea, the biggest company of the NFT marketplace as of right now, being valued at a whopping $10 billion. But what is perhaps the biggest and most promising aspect of the metaverse is that it will allow you to connect with literally anyone in the world regardless of their physical location. Imagine meeting up face-to-face with your favorite music star and cracking some jokes with him, playing football side by side with your favorite soccer player and scoring goals together, or maybe watching your favorite movie as if you were part of the plot. These and much more will be possible in the metaverse. It is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen. In fact, some specialists even say the lines between what is real and what is virtual will become so blurred that some people will barely interact in the real world altogether. Truly futuristic stuff. But unfortunately, we still have a long road to travel before we can get to the metaverse. After all, this extremely futuristic virtual reality requires a lot of technologies that we still don't have at our disposal today. For example, we still don't have the internet connections fast enough to support all of the data flow that the metaverse requires. After all, the metaverse and all of its features will require insurmountable processing power, incredibly fast data centers, and light-speed internet connections. And unfortunately, everyday people still don't have access to that. Thankfully, the current rollout of 5G internet will probably be of help, since 5G connections can support up to 100 times the traffic capacity of our current 4G network. What's more, we still have a long way to go in terms of graphic card technologies, because none of the graphics cards in the market today have nearly close to the processing power that would allow people to join virtual realities, create real-time holograms, and process entire ecosystems without lagging. Thankfully, some companies are already building the hardware necessary to make that happen. But what is perhaps the biggest hurdle to the metaverse at this moment is that we still have a long way ahead of ourselves when it comes to data privacy and security. After all, the metaverse will collect so much data and unique identifiers from its users, from everything to their physical locations, passwords, and even their habits, that we simply cannot let all of this sensible data fall into the wrong hands. So, in all likelihood, the metaverse will not be able to flourish before we can get our current data security issues sorted out. Now, because of these hurdles, some specialists say that we are still decades away from the metaverse, while others, like Mark Zuckerberg himself, are way more optimistic, saying that the metaverse should reach 1 billion users within the next decade. In fact, in one of his recent interviews, he said that we are 4 or 5 years away from a massive technology breakthrough that will take us even closer to the metaverse. So, if anything, we are in for a big surprise in the next few years. However, let's not forget that the future is completely unpredictable, and not even those closely involved in building the metaverse can say for sure what is going to happen. So for all we know, despite all the hype, the metaverse could even be a flop. Maybe due to some economic downturn or crazy government regulations, who knows? But if we are being honest with one another, the metaverse surely does look like the next frontier of the internet and human advancement. A technology that will finally allow people to cooperate, network, and get together without regard to the bounds of the physical world, thus taking the human race to a whole nother level. Well, I am sure the coming years will be a great time to be alive. Alright, and that was the metaverse, the new future of our world. As you can see, this new technology is going to revolutionize the world as we know it, even more than what the internet did. Now, I want to hear from you. Are you excited about the coming metaverse? Let me know in the comment section down below. And that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and until next time.